Hello everybody, it's Henry Weederman. I'm working on a Toro Time cutter, 50-inch cut, and what I'm working on is the hydro gears, or the hydro cads I call them, and I'm getting ready to put one cover on. So let's talk about RTV for a minute. This cover has way too much RTV on it. You should never have this much RTV going on the inside. That's too much. This other cover had the same. Look at all that. It's too much. It can get tangled up in there. You don't need it. You only need to do a thin layer on that surface and a thin layer on that surface, and then put it together, and then when you bolt it up, it will be fine. So this cover is ready to go on. I got it cleaned and prepped. Prepped it, so I'll put a thin coat on that to show you, and a thin coat on there, and then we'll put the cover in place, but not this much. That's way too much. Enough of that. Get set up here. So when you're putting it on, you just want to do a thin coat on each surface. No matter which one you want to start with, it's up to you which one's easier for you. I'm going to start up here on this. That'll take the longest. It's just a thin coat. People getting carried away putting these whole globs of stuff on there. You don't need it. Got all my bolts prepped and clean. As soon as I get done our TV in it, then I'm going to put the cover on. And then it says it recommends to let it sit for 24 hours. Wear gloves. I need as much exposure to this stuff as possible. And just squirt it out. This is a black oil resistant temperature Permatex. Just look at your product when you're buying it. Make sure it meets the application that you want. It's a thin coat. Go all the way around. When you press them together, the excess will come out. You don't want all the excess going on the inside of the gearbox. You want it on the outside of it. And this is just filling in imperfections. The faces are actually pretty tight. So this is just going to fill any gaps or voids or imperfections that you can't see with the naked eye and give you a seal on there. It's amazing how thick so many people put this on. And you can feel it with your finger. You can use a tool. I have a tool. I've done it with my chainsaws. So lights blind me. And I'll look it over really good and make sure I didn't put too much on, too little. But definitely you don't need it where it's pushing a bead into the next place. And if you got too much, you just stroke it out, thin it out. Okay, and then take your light. Make sure you got everything. I didn't miss something. Spot. There we go. The whole edge. Okay, there we go. And that's it. Nice light coat. Now we'll put it on the cover. Cover, same thing. Light coat. You don't have to get carried away. Just on that edge, get up around the bolt holes. It's commonly where it this. I'll show you once I put this on here. Working with two hands. Just on that seal area. Nice generous coat. A bit thick. Stuff dries fast, so it'll work fairly quick. Almost done. almost done. Almost done. Get around the bow holes. You're gonna have leakage. It'll be around there. So make sure you got enough around there. Nice thin coat. Okay, now that I got both sides, I can put the cover on. Gotta wipe off my sweat. Okay, cover's ready. It's not a hard cover to put on. Make sure you don't have any excess. You don't need it where it don't belong. Not hard to do sometimes. I'm trying to. Okay, so now I got it all light coat on the cover and light coat where it's going. And now I just slide it on. Once you get it on, put your bolts in. I'll use my air tool. I'll use my battery operated wrench to get it in place, and then I'll tighten them. I'm going to have to feel the tightness for myself because I couldn't find a torque spec on it, but I'm going to go get crazy with it. It's just a cover. It's going on nice. I checked all the bolt holes. I cleaned them. I took a wire brush to all the screws, all the bolts to make sure they were clean. I'm going to do all the prep work. Make sure all your stuff's ready. Makes it so much easier to go back together. Put your cap back on your RTV so it don't harden up on you. A lot of air in that tube. It's amazing. Spend that kind of money on it. And quarter of it's air now. Prices went up crazy. See that last hole. And I'll just take my tool and bump it on, and I'll take a wrench and tighten it up. And you'll see a small amount squish out. And that's good. You don't need to see a whole glob of it. And then what I do is I look for a nice, consistent squish. And there we go. And I'll just check the covers one more little bit. I got a nice squish. So now you just take your light and you look all around the edge. And you got a nice press of RTV. This one had it way globs, but out here, nice squish. There you go. We got a nice little RTV trail all the way around. That means it's sealed shut. So that's one cover. And I'll finish cleaning it up and doing the other cover. And I'll finish checking the torque on these, and we'll be ready to go. And that's it. That's putting RTV on the cover and not overdoing it. All right. And that's a Toro Time cutter, 50-inch cut. Hydro gear. Putting the cover back on. I also took a tool and cleaned that off and just put paint on it so it didn't rust up. Getting a little life out of it. All right. Henry Weiderman out. Have a good weekend.